Myself, Dr. R. Manchula Devi, Head IQAC, as well as the Professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering, KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore. So this is my contact mail ID and the mobile number. So when you start this augmented design principle, just we'll have the overview about this augmented reality. So it is the technology that combines. So, before I start the design principles of augmented reality, just I like to give the overview about the augmented reality. So, what is mean by augmented reality? So, when it says the definition, it is the technology that combines digital information with the real world. So, what is meaning of this? What is the need for this? Means when you look into the diagram, so we are a boy is standing behind it. Okay, when you keep the mobile phone over the boy, you can able to see the skeleton system of that boy. Okay, and it shows about what are the components of this skeleton. It is not the thing, it is not a scanning machine. Okay, so actual boy is standing behind the mobile phone. When you move your mobile phone over the boy, okay, we can able to see the skeleton of it. So it is not scanning the actual boy, so just it will show the model which has been created already. That model shows the skeleton of that particular boy. Okay, not the skeleton of the particular boy, skeleton of a some person. Okay, so what is the need of it? Means it is able to enhance, we want like to study the skeleton system means, so you can able to enhance the user's experience, but overlaying the digital content on the physical environment. Physical environment is nothing but the boy, and the digital content is nothing but the skeleton systems. So when you keep the mobile phone over the boy, so you can able to view the skeleton system. So second thing, these are two diagrams. When you look into the first diagram, here a hall is there. We have kept the furnitures everywhere in the hall, and wall hanging. One, two furnitures are there, on bureau and on uh, sofa set. Okay. Now I like to keep a chair, which may be red color, any color. But instead of keeping the real chair inside the hall before I purchase it, I like to view how it will be. If I keep that chair, how my hall will be. Already the hall setup has been done. Okay, now I want to purchase a new furniture. Before I purchase it, I want to visualize how it will be if I kept, if say if I kept near the sofa, or if I kept near the bureau, or if I kept opposite of the sofa, so how it will be. So you can able to imagine it. Okay, instead of keeping the real purchased new furniture, I'm going to visualize it by keeping the augmented reality. So they have kept the red color chairs near the sofa. So when I keep over the sofa, when I move my object over the sofa, so when I click on where to keep it, it will keep it so that I can able to visualize. Second, when I keep the diagram, second thing, I'm having a cube in my hand. I like to keep circle over the cube. How it will be? I want to imagine when I keep a circle over the cube means how the image will be. So actually, I'm not keeping a original physical circle on the cube. One the physical circle is a cube, but imaginary the circle is a virtual. So virtually, I am keeping my circle over the cube inside the augmented reality. So this is the imagination. So this is the way your augmented reality. So you can able to visualize how it will be. So that is the augmented reality tells. Augmented content does not recognize or interact with the physical object. It won't interact physically with the actual physical object, okay, which is already available in the real world environment. But it can able to enhance the user's experience, how it will be. Okay, instead of having the imagination, you can able to get the feeling of it. So you can able to get the experience about it. So that is the thing. So this is I have taken from the app. Okay, there are a lot of app are there. Air Zone, AR Zone is there. AR Loop La. So here I have kept my hand. Okay, so when I kept some architecture, dinosaurs I have kept on my hand. Okay, so now I can able to visualize a dinosaur standing on my hand, but physically I'm not keeping it. Okay, but imaginary I'm visualizing it by moving the mobile phone over my hand is available. When I move my mobile over my hand, when I take the location, this is where I have to keep the dinosaur, means automatically the dinosaur is kept on the on my hand. So this is the augmented reality, so I can able to feel. Okay, not feel means visually I can able to feel, not actually. Physically I can able to view how the dinosaur is standing on my hand. So this is the thing I have taken from the app. So there are a lot of app are there, so you can able to augment any type, even or animals or whatever it may be. So nowadays the lot of snapshots are there. Okay, when you keep the mouse, you can able to get the rabbit. When you open the mouth, I can able to eat the noodles, or when I open the mouth, or when I blink the eyes. So these are the part of an example of augmented reality. Next, before I look into it, I like to give the difference between AR and VR. So first one is, as per the previous example, augmented reality is nothing but, so a digital AR is superimposed on the real physical world. Already the real images are there. Over the real images, we are keeping or superimposing the digital layer. Okay, so whereas in the virtual reality, it is nothing but we are full and full is creating the simulating the virtual world. So when you go to the second thing, it is the mix of real world and the virtual. Real environment. So inside the real environment, I'm going to create the virtual objects. I'm going to keep the digital object. There is a virtual object. Whereas VR, it is a virtual environment. There will not be interaction between the real world and the virtual world. When you, third one, I can able to clearly differentiate between the real world and the virtual world under AR. But in VR, it is very difficult to categorize, differentiate between the real world and the virtual world. The fourth point is, now the user will not cut off from the real world, because since we are superimposing the digital object over the real world, so we can't able to cut off anything from the real world. Okay, whereas here totally we will be moving into the virtual world. Okay, we will be immersed. We will be moving into that artificial and virtual world. We totally away from the real world. So here we are using the smartphone, tablet, and laptop for this. Here we have to use the head-mounted device or some additional, that is HMT. Now many applications are there. I have noted some of the thing. When you're going for designing the architecture and construction, before we build a building, okay. Now I want to know how my house will be, how my house will be actually, where you will keep the door, and where I will keep the sofa, and where will keep the chair, and where I will keep the TV. So everything real house will be built using the augmented reality. I can able to visualize my house will be like this after the construction process. Okay, so that is, yeah, that is the real house. Okay, physically it will not be real, but after how you want to your house physically after finishing, it's the same thing you can able to create it. Even the color, even interior decoration work, everything you can able to keep the objects also. Here my sofa will be there. Here my kitchen will should be there. In the inside the kitchen, where you have to keep the things, which other things has to be kept where. So everything you can able to kept it, and you can able to design. I can able to go for the house tour. Okay, so architecture, site planning. Second one is the education and the training. So everything. Okay, artificial blended learning, immersive learning, classroom interaction. So everything can go for it. Healthcare, surgical operations, you can go for it. Gaming and entertainment, everyone knows. You can able to create any video games over there. Is how the user will be interacted with the device. So inside the device, you are having the virtual content. So the device has been tracked with the real world entity. That means the physical environment, and then your device, and then the user. So these are the major component of AR. One is the user, second one is interaction, third one is the device which contains the virtual content, fourth one is then tracking, and fifth one is the real world entities. So this is the way your flow of the AR will be there. Next, we look into the architecture of this AR. Totally four tiers are there. One is data tier, server tier, mid tier, and client tier. So just we are going to look into this. What is the purpose of each and every layers in AR? So from the name itself, as everyone knows it, the different meaning of the layer from the name itself. So when you look into the client layer, so this is everything is an application oriented, how the user will interact with the remaining layer. So it either it is a form of browser or any applications. So it is nothing but this client layer will provide the user interface. That means through that interface the clients will be interacted with the systems. Next comes to the mid layers. So it is nothing but the service providers between the client and the server side. So all the mid tier and the web services. So based on the requirement of the users, this layer will provide it. It makes a user interface between the client layer and the server layer. Next come to the AR system server. This is the actual tier where you are implementing your virtual content, whatever you want to do in the AR. So that model will get designed and will get be deployed in the server system server. That means it will implement the workflow functions, access control, and the flow of the data with respect to all the design virtual content that you are going like to model it. So that will be available in the AR system server. So next comes to the data tier. Already know this is the data which contains a database. So all the data that you want to store, which will be accessed in the futures, that data content will be stored in the data tier. So these are the four layers: client layer, mid layer, server, and the data tier. So already said the data access the data storage and retrieval engine. Whenever you want it, you will be stored and retrieved in the for future use. Next comes to the detailed AR systems. I already contained, they have divided into two. One is a presentation, that is your client layer. Then is a business processing. The mid layer and the A system layer will be combined as an business processing. Then it is the data tier has been divided into the data storage. That means previously floor layers are there: client tier, mid tier, AR system tier, server, and the data tier. This four tier has been merged in the form of presentation layer, which is your client tier, mid tier, and the AR. This is the mid tier. The mid tier and the AR systems server has been processed as the business processing. Next comes the data tier has been given as the data storage. We already said the presentation is nothing but the interface. So this interface will be connected to the mid tier through the internet with the help of internet. So browser client and wireless client, they will be connecting it. So the remaining thing they have connected directly. Whereas in mid tier, all the web services, reporting, flashboards, all API services will be provided in the form of mid tier. So through this API, only the user will be interacted with the AR system server. Here, this is engines and any plugin servers you wanted with respect to the processing. All the content will be available in the CR system server, which is your business processing. Then data storage, all the data with respect to storage will be stored in the data storages. So formally, it has been converted into three environment: presentation environment, business processing, then comes to the data storage. So now we are going to, so far we have looked at the basics of augmented reality, how the augmented reality will be there. So any messages, somebody has shared the, so may know what is the purpose of this. So one more slide has been, okay. Just we'll continue with where you have left it out. So far we have discussed about what are the basic fundamental concepts of AR and what is the difference between AR and VR and what is the architectures behind this AR. Now we'll look into the design principles. So that means now we have started designing the, now we like to design the AR. So now what are the principles that you have to follow while you're designing it? So, what are the guidelines to be followed while you're designing it? The first phase is a user centric design. So, user centric means whatever that we are going to design, it should be with respect to the user point of view. That is the user. Nowadays, there are student centric learning are there. with respect to the student's perspective, we have to teach it. Same way here. Choose user centric means because the user is the one who is using it, so it should be user centric. That means you have to understand the user's need, what the user is expecting it. So before you are designing the AR experience, first understand who is the target audience, and once you identify the target audience, you have to gather what is the goal and what they are expecting it, what is the preference and the pain points. So everything you have to collect the requirement. You have to collect the requirements in detail, what they are expecting it and what you are going to produce it. So everything should be very clear before you start designing the AR. Next, in the same user-centric design, there is the intuitive interface. So what is mean by it? It should be very easy to navigate. Whenever you are like to design it, it should not be very complex one. It should be very easy for the user to navigate inside this AR. Next comes to the interface should be very simple. Okay, and also it should be a user friendly. User friendly means even over it may be, if end users or user comes without getting guidance from anyone, so any user should be able to access that applications. If they are ready to access means when they can be able to access means, if it is simple without any guidance, any users can able to start operating it. So that is they are saying it. Make it easy for the user to understand how to interact with the digital element without getting the help from the user. So that means it should be very simple to for the users. Next comes to the context aware design. So, what is meant by context? From the name itself, you can say it is the context aware design. So, whatever the content that you are going to put inside the AR designs. So, tailor content to the environment. Based on the environment, the content should be there from the starting to ending. So, the what for which purpose you are designing the AR. Based on that purpose, your content should be there. It should not be irrelevant. It should not be meaningless one. That is saying it. So that means AR should respond to the physical context in which it is being used. For example, if you are designing the application for museum means, so the context should be reflect the artifacts that are on display. It should be relevant to the museum. Okay, you should not keep any other content which is irrelevant of the museum. That is the context aware design. So next one is spatial awareness. So what is the spatial awareness? From the name, it's a space. So where you have to keep which product. Okay, if the TV is there, it should be hanged on the wall. It should not kept on the chair. So if it is sofa means you have to kept over the some corner or center or wherever it may be. So each and every virtual product should be kept in where it. That means you have the clue where to position the virtual content. So the design should account for how the virtual object will interact with physical world, and also you should provide a clue to position the virtual content in a meaningful way. So that is the context of our design. Next comes to the minimal distractions. Okay, so I already said minimal distraction means while you are designing it, try to avoid the interaction between the users most often. Okay, since you have to experience it, you should not distract it in middle. So that means you have to enhance the real world and you should not get distracted from it. And also you should limit the number of virtual objects, because when you increase the number of virtual object means, so you will not get clarity and you will not get confident to use it. Okay, since you doesn't know how to handle the number of objects it comes, so it will get overlap and that a lot of distraction will take place if the number of objects is very high. So how to avoid it? Next, focus on the key interactions. Okay, so here, since you are going for the key interactions, whatever the element that is essential for that particular task alone has to be considered. The remaining please eliminate it so that it will be easy for you to handle it. Minimal virtual element is easy for you to handle it so that you can have a better interaction, and also you can able to respond in a very proper way instead of become a clutters. Okay, you can able to handle it in a very comfortable way. Okay, so don't be too complex. Okay, be simple and be clear. So that is the concept that you have to follow it. So complex or relevant information can confuse or frustrate the user. In order to avoid this, You can go for the minimal number of virtual elements to be used in the AR concepts. So the next design principle is natural interactions. So what is meant by natural interactions? So we all know that the natural interaction means the way we are speaking and the way we are moving. So while I'm speaking it, I will be moving my hand, and also I will be moving my eyes. So these are the gestures that will be coordinate with each other naturally. Okay, so based on the words, we will be having the body language, and we will be having eye contact, and we will be having the hearing. So yeah, all the components, gestures will be working together, and to get it, same thing they are asking it. Okay, so just design the AR interaction that feels it should feel nature. So when you're going for zooming concept, when you move your eyes, you have to zoom in or zoom out options. So swipe left, right options. When you want to move left, you have to swipe the left side or right side like this, and based on the voice commands. So what is the need for it? Means so that it will be easy for comfortable for the users to use the application. When you go for giving the restriction in each and everything, no, they will not free to use your application. Okay, you have to give the guidelines, or you have to give and design such a way that psychologically it should attract the users. So when it will attract the users, so the design should be more comfortable for it. So in the way they are using each and everything naturally, in the same way that they have to use the applications. Don't give the opposite instruction that against what we are using naturally. So go along with the usage of the users naturally, how they are using each and every product naturally in real world. Same concept please apply it for the applications in designing the AR, so that they are very much comfortable instead of going for the new instructions to get remembered. Casual usage will make them to comfortable. Next comes to the physical interactions. Okay, same way here, how we are interacting in the real world physically, no, same way you can able to do interact with the virtual elements in a such a way that it should mirror the real world interactions, so that they should get confused that whether we are interacting really or virtually. In that like that, we have to design the AR. Okay, such as moving the object with hand gestures or looking at the specific object to trigger information when you look into it. So we can able to speak with the human through eye also. Okay, without words, you can able to communicate through eyes or hands or anything else. That type of interactions they are asking to come into the this one is a natural interaction here. Next comes to the realistic and seamless interactions. So, 1 minute I have. So next comes to the realistic and seamless interaction. One is the blend virtual and physical world. So ensure that the virtual objects, so seamless means there will not be any limit. Okay, there should not be any constraint with respect to the interactions, and it should be realistic. Next comes to the lighting and shadows. Already I said it. So if the you have to apply the consistent lightning and shadow, it should be a realistic. Okay, So and also you have to get to the depth. Okay, so when you switch on the light, okay, so if any objects is available, the shadow of the object should be reflected on the another side of the light. Okay, so similarly, based on the days and nights, and then hot and cold, you should able to feel it. Okay, when it is a hot, it should have the temperature should be high. So many whatever the geographical content, so that feel has to be applied here. That is the lightning and shadowing. So lightning means in the sign during the daytime, it should there should not be the automatic real light should be there. When it is night, the object should be a darker. So if you want to see the object, you should switch on the light. So these are the things. So when the light is on, the shadow has to fall on the opposite direction of the light. So many things has to be applied. That is the lighting and the shadows, and there's also depth to the virtual object. So since these are the things, it should be very realistic. Naturally, what are the things that are happening, that same constraints or same design principle has to be applied for the designing principles. Physical movement of alignment, same thing as per the physics, you have to go for it. When the app is, for example, when the apple falls, so it should fall towards the ground, it should not move up. So these are the thing, when you throw the ball, okay, so based on the direction it should go up. When you throw the ball in the upper direction, the ball should go upper direction. After some distance it should start moving towards the earth. So these are the physics that you have to follow when you are applying the physical movement available in it. Next comes to the clear feedbacks and guidance. What is the purpose of clear feedback and guidance means? So wherever you're going into, since I already said the design should be very simple. There should not be a person to guide what to do it. So here, clear feedback means how to engage the content, and also so then and there, please try to use the symbols to guide the user what to do it. For example, arrows to move the directions, or any icons, or any on-screen instruction has to be provided then and there for guiding the users whether they are using the content in the next direction, whether they are using the AR in the right correctly, or when you want to guide to move through the any AR thing means, so the instruction should be very clear to guide them. So that is the way your instruction feedback should be clear and the guide. If you are moving the wrong way, just tell them that it is not the correct. Please go in the alternate path, or give the instruction what to do next. So that is the clear feedbacks and the guidance. Next, provide feedbacks whenever your getting your action is being recognized. If when you are correct, to go for the clap. When you are trying to get it, just encourage them, giving the encourage whether well done everything. So these are the feedbacks that you have to give it. So either sound effects or visual confirmations or vibration. Some in some form, please give the feedback when the for to recognize the user or to encourage them. Next comes to the user comfort and safety. So it is very very essential in wherever you are using it. Okay, it should you should prevent disorientations. Okay, so here any orientation should not be kept since you are experiencing the real experience. No, okay, so your movement and everything should make you to feel comfortable. If you are not comfortable, no, sure you will not like it. So since already in order to have the more realistic experience, we are going for it. So the user has to be very comfortable, and also they should be very safe. In nature, everything when they are using AR, they should be very safe and they should be very comfortable. And also eye strains. So ensure the text, graphic, and interactive are large enough. It should not be small. Okay, it should not strain the eyes to use that objects inside the AR. So you should be very the user should very comfortable to use it. Okay, so whether it is outdoor means go for highlight, or when inside the door it should be a low light. So many types. So you have to collect what are the ways the eyes will get strained, and if and how to get the solutions, and how we have to avoid it. Okay, so instead of giving it the issues, okay, you have to get in all aspects. Next comes to the physical safety. So whenever you are inside the virtual environment, you should mindful it is you are in. Okay, so wherever your dangers or everything else, Okay, even the, yeah, if you're using the public space, you should be very careful in using the objects. Okay, because by using the object, you should not get disturbed or you should not get affected. That is the physical thing. So next one is efficiency and performance. Okay, so your AR should be optimized for different devices. We are know that everyone should have the same phone or same configuration, because it is not necessary that everyone should keep the same phone. Each and everyone is using the different models and different configuration, mobile or laptop, tab, or anything else. So your AR should able to run smoothly across the different hardware platform, whether it is a smartphone or glass or headset, whatever you are using it. Okay, your app should be ready to use in different environment. Okay, and also whether it is a low rate or a frame rate or whatever it may be, I already said it, whatever with respect of the configurations, please you have to design the systems in it should be used in the, that means it should be compatible. And you like to say in a single word, it should be able to it should be a compatible one. Cell battery efficiencies, and also you have to use for minimal battery usage, so that you can able to use the resource in an very intensive manner. Then scalability and flexibility, so it should be able to fit any number of cases. If you like to enhance it, it should be able to adapt it. Don't restrict with the number of virtual area. I already said you have to go for the minimal use, number of visual image element. For that, don't design the system for by restricting. If you want more number of virtual element, your system should be able to handle it. Don't say that I have designed only for this much of visual element. If it comes, it will not handle it. So don't go for it. They are should be able to adapt to the wide range of environment, indoor or outdoor, lightning consent, any number of visual thing. Don't restrict with this, any constraints. It should be flexible and scalable to different contexts and use cases. So the allow second thing is allow for customizations based on the user's opinion. Okay, they have to personalize your experience. Okay, so suppose I have designed for one users. If another user is asking for the same AR but little bit variation in that existing means, you should be able to produce it. So that is the customizations. Then social interaction and collaboration. I already said social multi-user experience. Okay, from the video we can say that one people knows Chinese, another people knows English means if they are not able to contact with each other, they can't able to communicate. But using VR, okay, they will speak with the natural language Chinese. The person who knows English, they will speak in English. But this AR will translate English to Chinese and Chinese to English, so that they are very much comfortable with their own language, as well as they are very comfortable to work in the team also. So that is the multi-user, allows multi-users to interact with the same environment. Okay, so that you can able to get the many multi-users experience, and also you can able to interact and share with the virtual objects. And also social features, anything about it, sharing experience, capturing screenshot, and collaboration will take place. So any type of social features can be collaborated and interacted with each others. The last but not the least, the transparency and the privacy should be there. Wherever you go for using any medias and any applications means the privacy is very, very important. Okay, so there, whenever you are going to access the camera, because when you're going for the AR application, sure you have to access the camera, and so they will ask for the GPS and every sensitive data. Okay, you should be very careful enough about it. And also, please kindly ask them to ensure whoever the person is using it, kindly ask them to ensure that they are having control over the information. Without their knowledge, you should not take any data, even if it is AR application or whatever it may be, even if it is very important, without the user's knowledge, you should not take any data. So there is the permission and context. Whenever you are accessing any device, okay, please try to get the user's consent that you are going to access and you are going to use this types of data, and get the clear privacy policies. Without this, don't allow the users to access anything else. So wherever you are going for this medium, they will be giving the terms and conditions. So the terms and condition has to be get from the users that they are accessing the correct one, and they are doing the before accessing the applications, ensure that they are giving the correct content, and they should know that you are going to access their data, everything else. Okay, so last, there is a test and iterate before you are deploying your AR. Okay, this AR experience has to be tested with the real users in order to identify any usability issues. If there is any usability issues there, it should be tested, and if you found any usability issues, please address it before you are deploying it. So before, without testing, please don't deploy the AR in the real world. So when you look into it, these are the just outline. I look into it, and we'll. So today's class we will look into this. What are the AR overview of AR, and what is the use of AR VR? Okay, and we have explained with the real world AR Luba, and there are AR zones are there. Okay, just you can have the snap with any animals. Okay, so the difference between AR VR has been addressed, and then these are the, I already said, once you look into the video you can able to understand it. So by wearing the glass, just you can able to get your virtual reality digital objects into the real world. Okay, so here for example, if you imagine that you want some pet animals to be walked along with you, imagine it, because somebody will like pet animals, but you can't get in pet animals, but you want to feel it means, so you can able to wear the glass. So while you're walking in the ground, okay, just it will give the, as if you are holding that dog or pet animals in your hand, but realistic it is not. But you will feel as if you are bringing your dog along with you while you are walking it, but the walking ground is a real. You are real, but the dog is not real. But the dog has been pretend or came into the realistic in the digital form through the AR, wearing the AR glass. So that is the augmented reality. Smart AR. Next, we have given the demonstration difference between AR and VR. We already seen the videos. Then what the features of AR will be. Okay, in the islands, content translations, and navigations. So everything we are using it. So this is the AR black diagrams and the architecture. Four tiers are there: data, server, mid tier, and client tiers. And we have seen the functionalities of each and every tiers, and these three layers has been divided into three functionalities. One is presentation layers, and second business processing and data storage. Data layer is a client layer is your presentation, and mid tier and air server system server is a business processing, and third one is a data storage. Next, these are the design principles. The major one is user-centric designs. You got to give a design with respect to the user's expectations. Next, there comes to the context-aware designs. Based on the context, you have to design the content. Then minimal distractions. You have to go for the distraction should be very very minimal while you're designing the AR. Then natural interactions. It should be as is naturally how we are communicating with each other, both orally or physically or whatever it may be. Realistic and seamless interactions. You can have the many number of instructions. It should be a really interactive, the clear feedback and guidance. So since it is to make the user to be very comfortable, please give the feedback then and there that you are using correctly, or don't use like this, don't go like that. So please give them the clear instruction that what should be done and what should not be done. Okay, and also guidance. So instead of giving the oral communication, also you can go for the sign language or symbols to be used, so that they will use that symbols or sign language for getting guidance. It is not necessary that you have to go for only the oral guidance.